So apparently, Filmento wasn't cool enough to be part of the One Marvelous Scene project, and apparently, he was also not cool enough to be a part of the One Excellent Scene project. Well, you know what I say. If you can't join him, beat him. Say hello to the newest member of the One Excruciating Scene Army. You saw the title. We're going to talk about One Excruciating Scene with X-Men Origins Wolverine in the form of the War Montage. Now, this was actually a little bit confusing for me because arguably the War Montage, as in the part where Logan and Sabretooth are fighting in every single war in existence, the part where they have their back-to-back strategy combat move and when the credits are still on the screen, that's arguably the best part of the entire movie. So why is it one excruciating scene? Because even though it's the best part of the movie, it's also the most wasted part of the movie. Let's talk about the scene that goes right before the war montage, the part where young Logan, or Jimmy, kills his dad, and then Sabretooth, or Victor at the time, says that they're brothers and that they take care of each other. Then they just run off into the forest, and immediately they're grown up and they fight in all the wars. Now, that scene alone, that transition is already a mistake because so many questions that we want to see answered are already gone in that transition. How long did it take for Sabretooth or Victor to take care of Logan before he was old enough to actually take care of himself and help Victor? Like, why did they make the decision to fight in all the wars in existence? Like, how did they hide the fact that they were immortal, and how did nobody notice that they were in all the wars in existence and how they were unkillable? What? How did Victor get his bloodlust? How did they eventually get executed to the point where William Stryker takes them into the X team with Deadpool, the Blob, and Wraith, and all the other mutants? Like, so many questions are just gone in that transition alone. It's called X-Men Origins Wolverine, and it's also a prequel to the X-Men trilogy, and we get none of the origin story. We don't see Logan's personality before he becomes Wolverine. We don't see his relationship with Victor. We don't see what the relationship is as brothers. Like, we don't see how Logan killing his dad affected him. That scene is never mentioned again in the entire film. And the war montage, which could have been the entire movie, which could have not the entire movie. It could have been a big part, like Batman Begins, where the majority of the beginning is Bruce training with the League of Assassins. That could have been the war montage. Instead of the war montage, it could have been the war arc, where instead of a short montage with credits on the screen, we get a much longer part of the story of how war affects Logan and Victor. We could see the origin of their combat move back to back. You guys remember that move they used at the end of the movie to fight Deadpool? That could have been good. We could have seen that. We could have learned how William Stryker found them, maybe something like that. We could see Logan's personality. Like, you guys mentioned how I said that we could have also learned how Sabretooth got his bloodlust, because right after the war montage, they're Stryker, Logan, and Victor are fighting a Nigerian tribe, and then Victor is about to kill one of the Nigerian villagers, and then Logan stops him, and that's when he quits the team. That's one of those. That moment is not earned because we don't. Nothing led up to it. It completely comes out of nowhere, and it just doesn't work. The entire movie that doesn't work because the war montage destroys it. We don't. The Wolverine from this movie is exactly the same as the Wolverine from the previous three films. We don't get what affected him. We don't. What could have been a film about the tragedy of two brothers being torn apart and turning into enemies. Logan and Victor barely have any screen time together in this movie, right? Right? I'm not crazy about that, am I? And instead of horrible Deadpool, Victor could have been the main villain of this movie. We could have seen how the death in the war affected him, and how maybe that's how he got his bloodlust, how he became so savage. And oh, another problem is how we could have learned more about Kayla. If you don't know who Kayla is, I don't blame you, because she's Logan's girlfriend in this movie, who is the most forgettable love interest in all of comic book history, because she's so obviously gonna die that you don't even remember her name. We don't get a scene of how Logan meets her. We don't get anything like that. The war montage, like I said, besides it being the best part of the film, it becomes an excruciating scene because it destroys it in just one moment. What could have been the first act of the film, an entire first act, is just crammed into one simple scene, and that's an incredibly wasted opportunity. It's what destroyed the film into becoming one of the worst X-Men films of all time. And that really disappoints me, because it could have been a great film. We could have, like I said, a story about two brothers turning against each other. It's called X-Men Origins. I expect some origin between the two main characters, Wolverine and Sabretooth. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I didn't go a lot into analysis. This is not a big budget video with a lot of edits, me doing a voiceover or something like that, but I don't feel like I have to. I want to be a part of the One Excruciating Scene army. Phil Mento says that anybody can be a part of it, and I'm a part of it. I've seen a lot of other One Excruciating Scenes videos, and I'm subscribing to all those channels who did that video. So, Phil Mento, if you watch this, if the rest of the One Excruciating Scene army watch this, I hope that you subscribe to my channel, and let's get bigger. Let's take down the One Excellent Scene army in a snap.